Good evening everybody, and once again welcome back to the channel. In today's video, let's learn how we can ingest data from ScyllaDB. We'll enable CDC on one of the tables and learn how we can fetch those CDC records into Hudi transactional data lake with PySpark. So if you are excited to learn, all you need is a local machine which has Docker installed, and you can perform these labs with me. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. So the first step is we need to spin up ScyllaDB, and we're going to be leveraging the following Docker Compose file. We are going to be using Scylla image 4.6.0, and we're going to be exposing port 9042. Okay. So again, in the current directory, I have a docker compose.yml. You will have these materials, of course. So let's spin the Docker container. As you can see, the container is now in the running state. And open up your Docker desktop. Expand this. Here you can see my Scylla container is now in the running state. Give it a couple of seconds, and then we're gonna exec into the container. After you exec into the container, we're gonna start CQL sh. I'll zoom in as much as I can. If you do get a connection error, just wait for a couple of seconds and try this command again. So CQL, because again the container I just started, right? It would take a couple of minutes to start the container, right? So now you can see the container, again, I see a message that I'm connected, and now I can execute SQL commands. All right, so now that you have this ScyllaDB container running and you have exec into the container, now let's create a sample table, right? So allow me to share my screen. So again, I'll give you this snippets, right? So you can try and play and practice. So first we're gonna be creating a key space called my key space. Okay, so I'm gonna paste the command. Oops, I think I forgot the word C there. So again, copying that, pasting it. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna use my key space in ScyllaDB. As you can see, perfect. Now I'm gonna create a table called users. Okay, as you can see, and when I create it, I have said CDC enabled to true. I have enabled CDC on this particular table. And when you do that, ScyllaDB will create a CDC table internally, which you can read from. Okay, I'll show you that. Now let's insert 3 records into this table. So perfect. Now let's read from the user table to make sure that everything works fine. Okay. So here you can see, right? I have very simple hello world 1, 2, 3 records, user 1, user 2, and user 3, right? Now what I want to show you is now in Scylla, you will see a table. Again, the main table was user, right? You will see a table called user underscore Scylla underscore CDC underscore log. So if I simply just do select star here you can see the CDC records, right? Now the goal is how we can, the goal is to learn how to fetch these records using Spark, and then again write it into our Hudi transactional data lake. So, okay. So now we're gonna go to the Spark part, okay? So we did the Docker container, we spinned up ScyllaDB, we created a sample table, okay? Now let's take a look at the further steps. So I actually, first we're gonna create a Spark session, and I'm using Spark 3.4 and Hudi 0.14.0. So I'm gonna create this Spark session on my local machine. As you may see, the Spark session is now being created. As you can see, it's downloading the required jar files for this, and my Spark session should be ready. As you can see, now my Spark session is ready. Now I wrote a simple Python class which allows you to fetch data in an incremental fashion from the ScyllaDB table. Okay, so don't worry about all this stuff, it takes care of it. So what I want to show you rather is the client code over here. Okay, so here, so I create I call the function create CDC reader. I pass in the ScyllaDB host, the key space that I'm using, the table name which I want to read, the checkpoint directory where I want to read the checkpoint, and the batch size. Batch size meaning how much data you want to fetch in one go. Okay. Then I define my schema in Spark. As you can see, this is the schema. I have user ID, city, state, name, and again these are like built-in columns that ScyllaDB will give you, right? And then over here for batch in reader.get message, so I'm gonna grab the messages from ScyllaDB, Again, if the checkpoint is not there, it's going to read all the items, and the next time it's after every batch it commits the checkpoint, right? So the next time when you read, it's only going to fetch incremental records from that table. Okay. So again, yeah, so for the incoming batch, right, here you may see I create a Spark data frame, and then basically I call the write to Hudi method, which will write the data into Hudi Datalake. Okay. So let's try to execute this. All right, so we'll run this particular code now. So as you can see, it did commit the checkpoint, which means the Hudi data lake was built. Now let's try to read that from the directory. As you can see, now I can read that same data from which was in Scylla, now in my Hudi, right? Now let's try to update something, right? I think that's when it will be a little interesting, right? So here, as you can see, a little tiny, I know that. So I'll actually, okay, I have user 1, 2, 3, right? So now let's basically probably modify user number 1 where age is 30, right? Let's modify to probably 33. So I'll simply do that. Okay. And now if I query over here, okay, look, 33, right? So from 30, we went to 33, right? So now when I again run this code, okay, when I again run this, checkpoint is there, right? So it should fetch data from that particular point. So if I go to that directory, you will see a checkpoint folder was created. It's a little, let me see if I can, here, checkpoint here. Okay, it's a little, let me see if I can zoom this for you. So here you can see last CDC time, it stores that over here, right? So now when I query, it should be like, hey, give me everything after that particular timestamp, right? So now if I again run this code, it will fetch that incremental data, and it updated the checkpoint, and it was able to write that data back into Hudi. So now if I read, what should I get? Guess what? So I'm going to keep this here. I'm just going to paste it over here. So I should get for user 1, the age should change, right? So let's see. Hey, look at that. Flawless, right? It was able to bring that particular change from Scylla into Hudi, right? So again, cool exercise. This way you can try this lab out locally. You can see, you can learn about Scylla, you can learn about Apache Hudi. Now, of course, when working with Scylla, it's assumed that a lot of heavy amount of writes are coming in, which means the best table type for this type would be merge on read in Apache Hudi, because that way all your updates are going to be stored in log file, and then later on when the compaction job kicks in, it will basically compact those log file into Parquet or base file, right? So that's all I have for the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I will upload these exercise material on the GitHub. So hey, go ahead, try these labs out personally. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the video. Keep smiling, keep programming, and I'll see you in the next upcoming video.